The mayor and alderman meeting is called to order, 6 p.m. Tuesday night, December the 6th. All rise for invocation. Please take your hat off.
Lord Jesus, we love you tonight. We come here humbly before you to represent our beautiful town. We ask for every decision be made according to your perfect will. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May be seated. Appreciate y'all coming out tonight to witness my first meeting as mayor, city of Saltillo. We want to make sure we remind you to use the appropriate decorum for this meeting. It is also being videotaped, so it will be posted at some time. Mr. Jamison will do the pleasures on that. I do want to make a note that Alderman Wood is absent, and the seat which I sat is vacant. We'll discuss that more later this evening. At this time, we have the reading of the minutes.
The Saltillo Board of Aldermen met Tuesday, November 1st, 2022 at 6 p.m. in the City Hall for the regular monthly meeting. The meeting was called to order by Mayor Lowry, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance with invocation given by Alderman Reeves. In attendance were Mayor Lowry and Alderman Billings, Morgan, Maynard, Reeves, and Wood. The minutes were read with a motion to approve from Alderman Reeves, second motion by Alderman Maynard. The minutes were approved as read. The mayor and board were provided with a copy of the expense and revenue report for October 2022. Old business number 1, siren grant. Mayor Lowry provided the board with a status report. The bid process should be completed by the end of 2022. Number 2, second tranche of ARPA funds. The city recorder has completed the process to receive the second tranche of
Let me
ARPA
stop you right
funds.
there. If you have a cell phone on you, please turn it off. Thank you.
Which should be received in November 2022. Number 3, banners/flags. Banners and flags have been received. Installation of the new flag should be complete by Veterans Day. Number 4, culvert repairs on Oak Avenue. Mayor Lowry advised that he had inspected the culvert on Oak and determined that there was no water standing and there were no drainage issues. Saltillo's complaint form was used for documentation. Number 5, Tennessee River Rendezvous, tabled until December meeting. Number 6, Halloween Bash. Mayor Lowry advised that this was a successful event. Number 7, Patrolman. Chief Graves advised that he is working with Officer Franks for a start date for patrolling the area. Number 8, Van Hoos property. The Hardin County Property Assessor forwarded a request to Saltillo regarding the home located on the Van Hoos property being partially in the city limits. Discussion was tabled until the December meeting. New business number 1, Comptroller. A letter was received by the Comptroller's office regarding the street aid account, which was not balanced with Saltillo's budget submission. To correct this finding, $20,000 needs to be transferred to the street aid account. A motion to transfer $20,000 from ARPA fund to the street aid account to correct the budget balances was made by Alderman Reeves, with a second motion by Alderman Billings. The motion carried with all aldermen voting yes. Number 2, a motion to amend the budget showing the funds transfer. Ordinance 2022-06 was made by Alderman Reeves with a second motion by Alderman Morgan. The motion carried with all aldermen voting yes. Number 3, nepotism policy, tabled until December meeting. Number 4, operation of motor vehicle policy. A motion to approve the policy was made by Alderman Billings with a second motion by Alderman Reeves. The motion carried with all aldermen voting yes. Number 5, fund balances. The total of the fund balances as of November 1st, 2022 was $217,148.93. Number 6, Christmas event. A motion to allow Alderman Maynard to coordinate the event was made by Alderman Morgan, with a second motion by Alderman Wood. The motion carried with all aldermen voting yes. A motion was made by Alderman Wood for a $2,000 budget for the Christmas event. Alderman Maynard made the second motion. The motion failed with Alderman Wood and Maynard voting yes. Alderman Reeves, Morgan, and Billings voted no. A motion for a budget of $1,000 was made by Alderman Reeves, with a second motion by Alderman Billings. The motion carried with Alderman Wood abstaining. Alderman Billings, Morgan, and Reeves voting yes. Alderman Maynard voted no. Number 7, complaint. A complaint form was completed and received regarding the Little Red Shed along with a thumb drive of videos. The discussion was tabled until the December meeting. Number 8, Lowry resignation. Upon completion of the regular business, Mayor Lowry provided the board with a letter of resignation. A motion to accept the resignation was made by Alderman Billings with a second motion by Alderman Wood. The motion carried with Alderman Billings, Maynard, and Wood voting yes. Alderman Reeves and Maynard voted no. Resolution 2022-02 declaring vacancy. A motion to approve Resolution 2022-02 declaring a vacancy for mayor was made by Alderman Maynard, with a second motion by Alderman Wood. The motion carried with all aldermen voting yes. Number 10, appointment to fill unexpired term of mayor. A motion was made by Alderman Maynard to appoint Alderman Billings to fill the unexpired mayoral term. A second motion was made by Alderman Wood. The motion carried with Alderman Maynard, Wood, and Morgan voting yes. Alderman Reeves voted no, and Alderman Billings abstained. With no additional business to discuss, a motion was made by Alderman Wood and seconded by Alderman Morgan to adjourn the meeting. The motion carried and the meeting was adjourned by Mayor Billings.
Okay, before we call for a motion to approve the minutes, I just want to clarify, because it looks a little strange that we have an alderman vacancy and an alderman absent. We have 3 aldermen on the board. Our city charter clarified that the mayor has a vote and adds to the quorum. So for a motion to pass, it must have the majority vote. So a motion to accept the minutes is read.
I'll make a motion.
I second.
Okay, motion by Alderman Reeves, second by Alderman
Minor.
Maynard, thank you. Discussion. Any discussion? All right, I do want to address the Tennessee River Rendezvous. That is postponed yet again, tabled. I will be meeting with the chairman of the event tomorrow evening to talk about going forward with this event. Also, nepotism policy has also been tabled at this time. So, approval of the minutes, Alderman Morgan,
Yes.
Alderman Maynard,
Yes.
Alderman Reed.
Sir.
Thank you. All right. Additions to the agenda, you all have an agenda. We have emailed it out ahead of time so you can see what was on tonight's agenda. Any additions at all? Moving right along. Old business. There was a mention about the doctor's office last month. I did talk to the agency that was trying to open the doctor's office downtown Saltillo. They actually never signed any kind of lease or contract, and they have officially declined to move forward. So we'll be looking for another potential candidate. If anyone out there has anyone that has a practice that's interested in serving our community, they need to contact City Hall. They can contact me at our email address, saltillo.gov at cityofsaltillo.org. I think I got that right. Yeah. Okay. So they can contact us. We would love to have someone in that building. Siren grants. This is big news for the city of Saltillo. Alderman, you all have in front of you some details. I want to briefly go through that with you. This is nothing brand new, but there are some slight changes to the grant. The first page that you have should say Saltillo 2021 CDBG emergency warning sirens. It has the match opening bid information on there. The total estimated expenses are $96,948.69. The city's financial responsibility is $13,771.33. So with the grant that we've been pursuing for some time, is a total of $13,771.33. If we make a motion and approve this, this money would come from the APR funds, and we'll talk more about those funds later. Page 2 is a letter that if we pass this, we'll have to sign and send out. Page 3, we sent out bids to 5 agencies that are in this kind of construction. We only had one response from Precision Communication. We met and opened bids last week. They were the only one that was there. There is 2 other pages with this. It's kind of hard to see. Our city has been without a tornado or severe weather siren for, I want to say months, but years at this point. The total for the two sirens is $76,082.35. One siren will be relocated behind City Hall and the firehouse, and the other siren will be placed where it is at the park right now. In addition to that is $14,726 of a computer program and a computer software. This software is activated based on the polygon that you see on severe weather. So for those of you that don't realize it, in Hardin County and Crump and other places around, when severe weather comes, there is someone at the emergency center. They manually push a button to activate those sirens. There's someone in that facility day and night, 24 hours a day, every day. By purchasing this additional computer software and package, this will automatically activate. So I'll give you an example. And it sounds like a lot of money for a computer, but it's not just that. For $14,000, when you see the weather forecast and it shows a polygon over the city of Saltillo, our sirens will automatically go off for our area. So what has been happening in the past is that if severe weather comes to Hardin County, someone at the emergency shelter sends off a signal and alerts every signal in entire Hardin County. We're a little ways away from Savannah, so that might not be necessary all the time. So at this point, if we purchase this package and these sirens, that this is going to help not only Saltillo, it's going to help Savannah, it's going to help Crump and some other surrounding areas. So if you look at the fine print, there's $295 included in a software upgrade. That will have to be done every year, and we have put in our budget money in this grant to cover that for up to 10 years. I say up to 10 years because we have sent this back to make sure we can have additional. We're trying to use every bit of the grant money that come out. And then there's also a installation fee that you'll see on there as well. So my recommendation to this board is to make a motion and pass this, but it is up to you. And I will ask for a motion to purchase the sirens as stated.
I make a motion.
Motion by Alderman Morgan,
I'll second.
second by Alderman Maynard. Alderman Reeves,
Yes.
Alderman Maynard,
Yes.
Alderman Morgan,
Yes.
and I too will vote yes on that.
Can we get that air
Thank you.
turned on in here? I'm sorry. It's
Uh,
hot.
So, all right, so next item on the agenda, Jimmy Van Hoos property. This was brought up last week. I have sent you some information and a recommendation. Basically, the background on this, if you remember from the last meeting, that he had a surveyor come out to his property. 80% of the property is within the city of Saltillo city limits, and 20% is not in the city. My recommendation to you, after talking to the tax assessor's office, is to deny his request to be excluded or exempt from paying the full tax on his property. Rationale is the way the Hardin County tax assessor operates. They do not split houses. What happened at Half Moon was two counties and a city involved, so they made an automatic decision. So in talking with them this week, or last week that was, they don't have the practice of splitting houses. Therefore, the city of Saltillo, I recommend that we follow that same practice of not splitting houses and deny his request for an exemption of 20% of the tax. Can I get a motion for that?
I'll make a motion. I mean, why would we do that? I mean, I make a motion that we deny the request.
Okay, so if you're making a motion, that means you are denying the request for him to be exempt from 20% of the tax, okay?
Wait a minute.
So we have a
Yes.
motion
Is that right?
from Alderman Maynard. Okay, so there is no further motion at this point. Mr. Van Hoos will continue to pay the 100% tax as stated in the tax laws. So his motion is in it. In reality, you didn't really need one. So he will pay the full tax, okay? All right, so, new business, approval of resolution. Resolution 2022 is before you. This is a resolution to declare a vacancy. And so I'm going to ask that a recommendation and a motion be made.
Can we back up to that last one? Because the whole reason I held my peace was I was gonna vote in favor
Yeah.
of Mr. Van Hoos being exempt from that 20%.
Yeah, he's just gonna be exempt from 20%.
Well,
I think there was a misunderstanding.
again, my recommendation was to deny his exemption request. He is requesting that he be exempt on 20% of the city's tax. My recommendation was to deny his request. There wasn't a motion, but because it is already in tax law, he will continue to pay the full 100% tax. So if you want to make a motion that we accept his request for exemption, the time is over. So you have the opportunity to request.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept that from Mr. Van Hoos.
Okay, we got a motion from Alderman Reeves to accept his request to be exempt from 20% of the city tax.
I second.
Okay. Alderman Morgan, second. The motion will take Alderman Minor. Vote, yes or no? If you vote yes, yeah,
I know, if I vote yes, then
exempt,
he's exempt,
right, from 20% of the property tax.
but I didn't think we split houses.
Well, what I stated in my recommendation was the county does not have a practice in splitting houses. I say the county, the tax assessor's office, when they assess a property in Savannah, they don't split a house because it was a little bit over the city line. They don't do that. If it's, most of it's in, they charge 100% tax. Any other clarification? So we have a second for accepting his request to be exempt. And we'll call again for the vote, Alderman Maynard.
No.
Okay. Alderman Morgan,
Yes.
Alderman Reed.
Yes.
Okay, and a motion, I will, it'll be a tiebreaker, so I won't vote. Actually, it will be a tie if I vote. So, the motion will pass. He will be exempt on 20% of his property tax. So we will send him a letter, let him know that 20% of his city tax will be, changed. Okay, thank you. All right, back to resolution 2022-03. A motion, a resolution to declare a vacancy of alderman. Yeah.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, a motion from Alderman Reed,
I'll second it.
and second by Alderman Maynard. Okay, Alderman Morgan,
Yes.
Alderman Maynard,
Yes.
Alderman Reed.
Yes, sir.
Motion passed. So for all of you that are here tonight, we will post this in the newspaper and on our website and things like that. Anyone that's interested in applying to be an alderman, you can send a letter of interest and a resume to the city address. You have till December 30th at 3 p.m. So all of you here tonight, hopefully some of you are interested in joining the board. Just to let you know that the aldermen are not paid. They do a lot of work as far as you're seeing tonight, and sometimes it goes unthanked. It's a thankless job in some cases. So jump in, be a part of the community, and make a difference. Okay, let's move on. Tennessee River Line. You have a resolution before you about Tennessee River Line. This is through the Office of Tourism. They have asked us to make a resolution, and because this is something of interest to everyone, I'm going to read this one to you specifically because they asked me to. The City of Saltillo has determined the cooperation between the local governments and the Tennessee River Line Partnership is a benefit for both in order to utilize resources in an effective manner to better service all residents, and whereas the City of Saltillo's location along the Tennessee River has played and continues to play an important role in history, economy, and lifestyle of residents of the city of Saltillo. And whereas the Tennessee River Line is a vision for continuous system of multimodal trail experiences that provide users with continuous access to the 652-mile river and its 470,000 acre system of 9 reservoirs, as well as national and state parks, wildlife refuge, TVA recreation land, and existing trails. That line is banked. And whereas the Tennessee River Line is a vision of strategic investment in economic, social, and environmental infrastructure that has the potential to stimulate new economies, businesses, and amenities that benefit diverse groups and communities. And whereas the city of Saltillo believes that the Tennessee River Line is worthwhile endeavor with a great potential for improving the lives of residents and the area of increasing tourist exposure to the historical, culture, and recreational resources of the area. And whereas the city of Saltillo has been accepted by the Tennessee River Line to participate in the River Towns program, which requires support of local governments in the form of a resolution committing the vision of the Tennessee River Line and acknowledging its potential to stimulate new economic activity, create new business, and foster new amenities. Now therefore be it resolved by the city of Saltillo as follows. The statement of support and tasks associated with the program. The mayor and the board of aldermen of the city of Saltillo agree to support the task associated with being designated as a Tennessee River Line town. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Motion by Alderman Reeves,
A second.
second by Alderman Maynard. Alderman Reeves?
Morgan.
Yes. Alderman Morgan?
Yes.
Alderman Maynard?
Yes.
Okay,
Little
that-
side
that was
note,
passed.
we did this, last year, with Tennessee River Line, that's when we cleaned our banks and everything, and even went across the river and picked up lots of trash and burned a lot of stuff, and
Yeah.
we did do that last year.
Yeah, it's a very worthwhile cause for us and our community and all of the Tennessee River. And you can go to Tennessee River Line and see more information about the research and the connection to the University of Tennessee and many other things that they're planning to do in the near future, so.
Right.
All right, sounds good. All right, just a new business item. It doesn't really take a motion or an approval. As I mentioned in previous meetings when I was dealing more specifically with parks and whatnot, we have a lot of infrastructure issues in our community that has not been addressed because of funding, a lot of it. But our school and community center and things, is a lot of issues there. So one of the first things we're gonna do is we're gonna close the gaps in the cornice, or the soffit, I think it is, in the west side of the gym. Jeremy Gibson is gonna be an estimate of about $2,500. If you haven't seen it, there's a big gaping hole in the side of the gym, and there's no need in fixing anything inside till you keep the water from coming in. So you may see some work going down there later on in December or in the new year. Cost of $2,500. That is the limits of the expenditures based on the Tennessee Comptroller's budgeting code. So we'll get that started. You'll be hearing some more repairs and things as we go through the months. All right. Okay, real quick, give you a little mayor's report. This last month, I've been to the West Tennessee Mayor's Association, had a big thing on Blue Oval. Although that we're not real close to be able to, I guess, drive there and work there, they are doing lots of things in that area where Blue Oval is. If you've never been there, it's a massive site already under construction. We expect, as the many employees that they will have more people coming to enjoy the river, Tennessee River Line, and Saltillo as part of their recreational area. So we are in that extended zone of Forward Blue Oval. Some of you may have kids and grandkids that going to school. May be a great place to work for our community. Also met with the tax assessors regarding some boundary issues. I was pleased to hear at the meeting that we were in great shape as far as very definable boundaries, such as Mr. Jimmy Van Hoos's property. It's very definable. We don't have those kind of problems that other communities have around us regarding tax issues. So the end result, comptroller said we have done, and I say we, those that came before us that made those boundaries have done a very good job in establishing those boundaries and being very organized. So that was good to hear. Also, you have in front of you some other information from the comptroller about our recently amended budget for 2023, so no motion or anything needed there. Okay. Financial report, you should have that with you in front of you, okay? You turn to page 5 on the first document. That document states what our budget is based on current budget, current actual, and annual budget. According to those numbers, we're doing really good. We are in the black. We're doing well. On the additional page, account balances, we have an account fund of $294,969.39. So $294,969. So that is what our account is. You can see the general fund, the fire and parks, and let me direct you to the ARPA funds. That is $98,034.84. If you look through this document that I gave you, you will see on page 1 where that APR funds for the second round that we received has been entered, $79,815.92. So those are some budget highlights. You have this in your hand. You can look through that. If you have any immediate questions, I can address those. But the good thing is that we are solvent. We're in good shape, and we will be making some decisions on how to use that APR fund. We got a little time to do that. Any questions on finance, budget? Anything? All right, very well, very well. Alderman, I don't know if all of you have a report, but Alderman Maynard was chair of the parade. You want to share any information about that? I thought it went really great. Had a great time.
Really well, and I've said it a while ago, but we had a huge amount of volunteers. Our budget, there was like a big discussion about the budget last month, and I got it right here in my purse. So I have my receipts somewhere. Right now, we spent $323.80, plus I'm lacking just one bill, and that's for the porta potty. But other than that, that's what we spent. That's including trophies and everything. And then we did do some lights that that will come out of the parks fund, from what I understood, but that wasn't but $246. So it was well under my $1,000 budget, and I thought it went really well. We had a lot of volunteers. And for each one of you, I want to say I appreciate it. It was good. I hope it was a good day for everybody. The children enjoyed it. The people that were vendors, that they all sold a lot, and that meant a lot to them this time of the year, because it was local people selling their goods and their wares. So I hope everybody got to come and enjoy themselves with their families.
Did a great job on that. If you have never been in charge of lining up a parade without any pre-registration, you ought to jump in there and try it. It's not an easy task, but I will say, you didn't mention, there were a lot of volunteers that standing close to you to help you do that. So,
That's what I mean. We were
the
running.
the entire day, I know Miss Woods and Rebecca Dawson here, I don't think she's here, they did the craft fair.
Mm-hmm.
So that went real well. That was not without any help. Also, the Rutan, the decoration downtown. There are many hands that go into making this happen. And so, as all of you here in this community, that's what makes the community great. People jumping in and doing things when they don't have to. They do it because they love the city and because they want to volunteer and make it better. So it makes a lot of difference. So thank you for that. Any other Alderman report? Okay. Department reports. Our senior citizen department head is here. Ms. Brewer, you got anything you want to share with us?
No, not
Not?
tonight.
Okay. So the sign with the downtown city parade, you can thank her for putting those letters up there. She did all that.
Yeah, Miss Maynard.
That's a small
I did
thing.
it.
She has senior citizens every week, but, so, how can they come and join the senior citizen if they have
Just
some?
walk right in.
Walk right in the door. Easy way, okay. Sounds good. All right, Chief Young, you got a report?
We don't really have a whole lot. November 5th and 6th, first weekends of November, is traditional for the last 13 or 14 years. Is a training weekend down in Savannah. Hardin County Fire Department hosts it. Tons of instructors come out from the State Fire Academy, and it's training weekend. It's open to people all across the state. So it's a good experience for everybody as far as training and plus meeting people and networking. So we got that through. We've had a couple of medical calls over this month. We've gained, picked up 3 new members over the past month. 1 week from today, the 13th, people who have applied for food boxes, I don't know where they go through to apply for them, but when they come in, they come through the fire department to distribute out. They'll be in next week, Tuesday the 13th.
Okay.
And we'll be, starting tomorrow, we'll be calling and notifying the people who have boxes coming to them. So
Yeah, but
they'll
that-
go ahead and know. This is the first year we've had this much advance notice. Usually we find out the day they deliver.
Okay.
Do you have enough people to help you, give them out?
Yes.
Okay.
Also wanted to bring up, Hardin County Fire Department put in a grant to get new SCBA's, which that's our breathing apparatuses, for being able to enter a fire and still be able to breathe. And they included us in on at least 6 packs. Now they got approved. They the year before they applied for it and did not get approved. This past year they did get approved, but due to price increases from the original bids, and now time to pay for it is increased,
Yeah.
which has come down to kind of a matching. I've been working with the county fire chief, and we still don't know an exact amount of what our part of the matching is just yet. As soon as we do, I'll be letting the mayor know, and then we can decide from there, you know, what we're gonna be able to do.
Okay, appreciate it. Anybody interested in being on volunteer fire department? Facebook, Chief Young, email him, call him. He can use your help, and the community certainly appreciate it. We may be a volunteer fire department, but every time they get on that truck, they're a firefighter, and they are here to help this community, and they put their life on the line wherever they go every time. So we appreciate your help. Chief Graves.
One thing I
yeah.
wanted to add, I said we brought in 3 new members. 2 of those new members are new recruits. We gotta start from scratch. 1 member moved down here from Maryland. He's an experienced firefighter. He doesn't need any training. He's ready to go.
Oh, excellent, excellent. Chief Graves is on duty at this time, so it won't be a report from him. Before we get into this next session, citizens' comments, concerns, and commendations, I do want to mention that concluding this meeting, that we will have a beer board meeting, concluding this meeting. So you're welcome to stay for that if you would like. As we begin our citizens' concerns, comments, commendations, please state your name and your address for the record. And if anyone would like to speak today, this is your time. Yes, ma'am.
Jennifer Barca, I live down the road, first big White House, lots of free speech signs. My question is, the police officer, is that still in effect? It is December. You guys have been talking about it since August. Is that still coming in?
What is still
You're
in effect?
getting a secondary police officer.
Okay, we have discussed adding extra time to our police officer, but we have had a recent resignation of our second officer. So we are, probably in the next month, we'll be looking to what we'll do with our budget to hire another officer. As of right now, we had a resignation. We only have 1 officer, and that is Chief Gray. He is the chief.
Okay, but you still have the budget for a secondary
We
police
have a
officer.
budget that has been established by the city, yes. That includes all personnel and all the financing and fees.
And you still will get one.
We have a part-time position available for an officer, and like I said, we'll be pursuing what we can do and how many hours that person can work, based on what the budget is.
Okay. So not a secondary.
He's an
He's
officer,
resigning.
we have a officer that was part-time resigned. So it's not a secondary officer, it's a addition,
Got
it's
it,
a
got
second
it, got
officer.
it.
He's not, but he would be a part-time officer. But, anyone else? Yes, sir.
We have still more.
State your name and your
Sorry,
address.
my bad. My name is Yamal Patel, I have my family owns two business, Village One Stop, Little Red Shed.
Yeah.
This is a
And where do
concluding
you
for
live?
in Henderson, Tennessee.
Thank
Got a business at Little Red Shed. Things going a little bit out of control now from my neighbors, and they're slurring the words out, saying bad words towards the people who stop on the road to see their signs, and they're stating that that's the people who I know, or including your friends, telling other people like they need to get off from my property because they don't want them over there. Plus, they're putting my character they're telling, we had a confrontation one time. She was like, oh, she is a minority, she's a citizen of this country, she has all the right, and end up while in between, she was like, you people came down over here. And I was trying to explain, like, I didn't say nothing bad, but I don't know where it's gonna end. The very next day, they false complaint about throwing a pipe bomb in their yard. Somebody came into a Little Red Shed, went out, throwing a pipe bomb in their yard, and then put the signs that they are trying to bomb our place. And this Saturday, two of the people lives in Saltillo was in my yard, and they went them, approached them, telling them to leave my property. And it's getting out of control. And I had done everything from my end to work the play, make the place right to run, and everything I can do so I can be in a compliance. But this is not going very well for me, and I'm start losing a little bit business out because of that. I have people telling me when they see me at the store or the restaurant that they don't want to go through that road because of the decoration in the yard. It's creepy. Kids are scared. They don't want to come down over there. They're walking around with the gun, and they don't know. They have concern about their safety.
you. All right, so let me address that specifically for you and everyone that's here, that our city police, our Saltillo police, the county, other law enforcement agencies are aware of some of the things that are going on and are monitoring that very closely. However, people do, and you as well, have rights to do certain things in the state of Tennessee and the United States. So people's rights cannot be infringed upon. I might not agree with what someone says or how someone acts, but I do not have any authority to change that. So if people stay within the law and use their rights as they choose fit, doesn't mean we agree with it, doesn't mean we like it, but we will not infringe on others' rights. I'm sorry that you feel like your business is being impacted. I've heard quite a bit about it from different people in the community, but like I said, we are aware, the law enforcement's aware, and we're going to continue to monitor that. So I'm gonna stop you right there, okay? You've had your chance to speak, okay?
I was just
All
trying
right,
to
anyone else?
explain.
Okay,
I'm Jeff
yes, sir,
I live in Henderson, Tennessee.
okay,
We got a place at Dickey Land, and we come down this summer. We go to Little Red Shed and Mexican restaurant once every weekend. And I take my grandkids in there. It ain't nothing wrong with it. He's a good man, he runs a good business. That's all I got to say.
thank you. Anyone else?
I'm Jeff Deal. I live at Riggin, but I'm the same way. I carry my 12-year-old granddaughter in, no problems.
Thank you. Ma'am.
I just want to rebut what was being said.
Give me your name. again.
Oh, Jennifer Barca, 46490, Highway 69, Big House with the freedom of speech signs. Again, I just want to rebut. There are every hour, there is someone across the street in the Red Shed parking lot. I have video cameras all across my, 360 around my home. They pick up everything and anything that is being said across the street. So I can hear when someone is bad-mouthing, defaming, calling me names, or calling my husband names, or making gestures, or doing anything of that nature. We can see it and hear it on camera. So that was the reason for Saturday that I went out and I said something. Now, us carrying guns, like he said, that is our freedom to do. Both my husband and I are retired military. We've moved here. We never expected to be in a war with a bar that is out of control. You people who are not.
I'm gonna stop you right there when you start saying "you people." Okay, no ma'am. I'm gonna stop you right there.
Customers,
We're gonna have a point of
customers.
order, ma'am. We'll have a point of order here.
I
We
understand
will not begin saying "you people" in this building.
I understand.
So we've heard your concern,
Okay.
and as I stated, they too have rights that we will not
Correct.
infringe upon.
Correct,
So I appreciate your time.
correct. There are customers that do not, when they are in the parking lot, they are aggressive, obscene, loud, and then when they leave the parking lot and drive by our house and do the things that they do, that's when we get upset.
I understand,
these
but
are the
again, people
things
have their rights,
that-
and
and
law enforcement
absolutely
has their
understand.
thing. I'm not gonna get an tit for tat with you, but law enforcement knows what's going on. They've been advised, and, we are monitoring that very closely. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
I'm Emily Mitchell, 165 Main Street. We live across from the Baptist Church where the speed bump at one time was. We've lived there for about 3 years, and we have people that drive back and forth past our house going to the river on side-by-sides, in loud trucks. They used to back up to the speed bump and burn out past the street. This is not something that is specifically happening as a retaliation to Ms. Barker. This is a city where it's a resort-ish town. People come here to enjoy themselves and have fun. Is it right? Is it wrong? That's up to whoever's in charge, the police, whatever. But to say that it is direct retaliation, people coming out of a parking lot, is untrue in my opinion.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Misty Brantley, myself, part-time work at the Little
Where do you
Red.
live?
I live in Decatur County, just right across the line. I frequent Saltillo basically every day. I do part-time work at the shed, and also my son works at the Little Red Shed. Most everybody knows is Caleb White. I understand there's a freedom of speech. I understand there's a right to bear arms. But I also know there's not a right for someone that's trying to go to work with no one else in that parking lot and get hollered at, threatened, or anything else. And that is happening regularly.
Intimidation.
It's very much intimidating trying to go to work and make a living, put money in your pocket and food on your table when you have people threatening you. That is my complaint, and that's why I'm here tonight on behalf of my son and myself.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Bobby Blankenship, Decatur County. Lived here all my life. Tommy does a whole lot for this community. Back when the boat accident on the thing, he provided food for all those people for 2 days to take care of them. That's kind of how this family does. A couple of weeks ago, she taking pictures about the vehicle, ran my tag. Somehow knows she got my tag number. They knew who it was. So that's something that's going on too. I don't know why we're not doing anything. We pull out of there. I like, lady, you need to stop this. Somebody, it's going to end up bad. It's going to end up bad. Not threatening nobody. We want peace just like she does. But it's something's got to be. I know the police are aware of it, but when something happens, they'll say, well, we didn't think it would go that far. I mean, you see crazy stuff on the news every day. And it makes you fear when you go in there. The delivery guys are even scared to go in there.
Yep.
So their company is probably going to reach out. You know, we can't make deliveries because, I mean, it's no problem. Everybody's got guns, but it's just intimidating. If I lived across the street from you, I mean, you're kind of having a little beef. And every day I'm standing out here in my yard with the gun there, knowing that we're having words. It's just immaculate waiting to happen. One of my best friends got shot last Friday night. Had a beef with somebody. The Harkin boy from Adams, one of my best friends for years. And look what happened to him. And it's just, you know, we're asking for peace for everybody. Her part, our part, or whatever. It's what it's going to be. The higher ups, the DA, or somebody's going to have to get involved.
Well, let me just address that for you. We have discussed this issue with the DA. And again, the law dictates how far we can go to do anything on either side of this issue.
Yeah.
So we have pursued some of those things that you're talking about, like I said, with law enforcement, and again, monitoring and watching what goes on.
I just
But
hate to
like you said, we hope that nothing goes any further escalated than this, but there's, there's two sides
Oh,
of
there's
that
two
story,
sides,
of course,
everything,
so, anyway, thank you, sir. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
My name's Leanne Ward Haley. I live on Winding Way in Saltillo. I'm here in support of the Little Red Shed. I have three main focuses. One is a customer. I'm there supporting the business because the city of Saltillo, I think, needs it. I support the store. I support the Mexican restaurant. Second count is it's been a very good place for the city. It's been a good place for people to just come and sit and be. We have been aware that we're being filmed. Omi went to the effort to put up a fence for our protection, because that was our privacy. The third main count is, Miss Jennifer, I've never met you, but whenever I'm finished talking, I'll be more than happy to come over there and reach out a hand to let this be an end, because no one wishes anything bad for you or anyone at the shed. And Omi goes to great lengths to monitor the activities, the noise. There's been many times, it's like, turn it down, it's getting close to 11 o'clock. 12 o'clock's the legal limit. But he's gone above and beyond to try to let this settle down. My third point is, when you were mentioning Blue Oval coming into our city, those items are in the yard 24/7. To the point, I can't even go to my home without being affected by it, and it's disturbing. So that's where I was gonna hope to be here to ask the city to do something for the main road of Highway 69 coming into our town and having some kind of effect or some kind of impact, because just as if it was a demolished house, they would have, some legal rights or some way to have it cleaned up. So I've said my piece, and Miss Jennifer, I'm more than happy
I
to.
suggest you sit down, please.
We're in
Well,
a meeting. I am
I
in a
suggest you
meeting,
sit down, please.
but I'm
Well,
saying
I call
like
for a
that.
point of order.
Thank you.
No
I appreciate it,
problem.
though. Please sit down.
All right. Anyone else? Anyone else? Yes, sir.
David Hart, 165 Main Street. I'd like to speak to the point that she said earlier about her cameras being able to pick up voices from over there and hearing people calling her names, bad-mouthing her, etc. How is that any different in regards to freedom of speech than the sign that they claim, which is their freedom of speech? It's kind of tit for tat, and she said herself that angers her, and that's why they do what they do. Okay, and then there's the signs there that anger the other people as well. There's got to be a stopping point somewhere. I don't know where that is. I wish I had a suggestion.
Thank you, Mr. Hart. All right. You want to speak? Go ahead, Mr. Brasher.
My name's Jeff Brasher. I live just down the road here. I've lived here for several years, and my family lived here all their life. To the signs that's in the yard, I mean, I'm a grown man. It doesn't bother me, but like some of you others said, I had grandkids downtown for the parade, and they saw them. And they're pretty smart and they can read. They didn't much care about some of the stuff that they read. To the point of freedom of speech, and freedom to bear arms, I'm all for all that. All the liberties we got, and who all fought for them. I appreciate everything that everybody's done for these rights we've got. However, to the freedom of speech law, there's also a law against that. You can't go into a crowded movie theater and yell fire either. You can't just make up something and say it. So if there was something on these signs that maybe wasn't true, then there would be that could be looked at as well.
All right. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Kenny Shutt, live on Bingham Road, Saltillo. My great grandfather built a good chunk of this town, and I'm here to support Omi. And like's been said, I'm all for freedom of speech. I've had many military in my family and my wife's, but you couldn't pull that off in the city of Jackson. You go to the city of Jackson and do that, and you would be fined. You can't have non-running vehicles in your yard. So there's steps that can be taken because it makes this town look bad. I have friends in Jackson that know about it. They rarely come down here, but word's already made it to them, and they don't want to come down here now because it makes the whole town look bad. And to have family ties to this town the way I do, it hurts my heart to see the town. Because I remember growing up here, and you couldn't find a spot down there to park at the boat ramp. Now this town's dead. Omi and Ayushi have been trying their damnedest to bring this town back, and they have, but it feels like it's lost hope now because they're fighting a losing battle.
Let me just briefly speak to your point about the comparison of Jackson and our city of Saltillo, and it goes back to developing ordinances that allow you the ability to enforce such things. So currently, there are none in our town. So
Yes, and I'm aware of that. I just wanted to make that point to something that possibly could be looked at from the city council's aspect.
Right, yeah, I think so. All right.
I'm Michelle Kidd. I live across the street from the community center, and those dogs are freaky. I had to tell my sister-in-law about it for my little niece not to see it. We have to drive around it, and it's stupid. But the other thing is, how fast can we get those ordinances done? Because, like you said, we love our town, and we want something done.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
I'm Marlene Faulkner from Chester County. We drove by today coming down here. We noticed the signs are removed. Thank you. You know, they're complaining about the lights shining at their house. They're shining there because people are reading the signs. So, I mean, how is this affecting the visitors to Saltillo?
Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
My name is Aisha Patel. I'm from Henderson, Tennessee. I work Willis One Stop. When I have to go to the Little Red Shed, right, by myself, I don't carry nothing. It's not fair to me to be scared on my own property. It's not fair to my drivers to be scared on my property, and it's not fair. Like, I'm on my property, I'm doing my own stuff, right? And maybe you're gonna walk around here and there, what I'm doing, calling somebody, trying to get my tag number and stuff. That's not fair. I'm on my property, I'm bothering nobody. But yes, I'm scared to go on my own property. We have to worry about my brother and customer every single day, because he works sometimes at night, the cleaning and stuff, and I have to go and get the delivery and stuff. That's not fair to us at all, that we have to be scared on our own property.
Anyone else?
Jim Phillips, live up at Handy Corners, 100 feet behind their red shed. I have yet to hear any music. I've heard maybe 2 cars leave that are loud. There's nothing you can do about that. You're out in the country, it's not like they're in the town. They're not burning rubber. I don't see them down here protesting the Mexican restaurant for selling alcohol. So I don't understand what the big problem is. He's trying to do the same thing up there. These 2 people have done more than I've seen than anybody. They're the hardest working people I've ever seen. And you got somebody like this intimidating them like that?
We're not gonna point and say somebody like this. That's not the point of this meeting. But we do understand what you're saying as far as you haven't heard much from them.
No, I haven't heard nothing. I'm from here to the corner away from them. I'm right behind their place. There's nothing going on that she's talking about. So if she wants to bring that up, if she's got all these recordings, let's see them.
Well, that is for the law enforcement. They have dealt with that.
Well, law enforcement can't do anything, right?
That's correct.
So
As of right now.
you're stuck.
Yeah.
So if she wants to pursue this and show somebody what's going on, bring it to some authority and show them. Because actually, if they've got recordings, there's probably gonna be a lot of deletes from their side.
Well, I can't address that, but I appreciate your comments and understanding.
No.
Anyone else? Anyone else? Calling once again, anyone else? Yes?
Mr. Billings, my name is Ricky Withers. I live on Saltillo Road. I've lived here 30-something years. Miss Jennifer, I've been in your home. I have nothing bad to say about her or her husband. They have been nothing but nice to me. But I think it's time to let bygones be bygones. Try to be a part of this town and make it better. And instead of putting up your signs that offend people that come into town and take away from our town.
Yes.
Agree with him totally.
On that one, I would like to say I'm very proud of the citizens of Saltillo, because this could have been a whole lot worse, a whole lot quicker, a whole lot.
All right, anyone else? Anyone else? Hearing no other calls, there will be a beer board meeting concluding this meeting, so I don't want to rush you out, but it'd be nice to get started on that beer board meeting. So do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
A motion by Alderman Reed.
Second.
Second. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you. We will take a slight restroom break and we will return on the beer board. To order the Saltillo Beer Board 701, December 6th, 2022 Beer Board meeting. Yeah. All right, so there was no old business, new business. New business is regarding approval and renewals for beer, alcohol. If you look at page 2, El Portillo Mexican Restaurant recommend a renewal of their license for the beer board. Do we have a motion to renew? I think that's what we have to do.
Yeah, I'll make a motion.
Motion, Alderman Reeves. Second, Alderman Maynard.
Yes.
Any question? Alderman Morgan.
Yes.
Alderman Maynard.
Yes.
Alderman Reed. Beer license has been renewed for El Portillo. Little Red Shed, renewal of mixed drink permit, renewal of beer license permit. To get a motion to renew the license.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Alderman Reed,
I second.
second by Alderman Morgan. Alderman Reeves,
Yes.
Alderman Morgan,
Yeah.
Alderman Maynard.
Yes.
Aisha Patel, one stop, with his one stop, renewal of alcoholic beverage permit. I have a motion to renew her permit.
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Alderman Reeves,
Yes. Second.
second by Alderman Maynard. Am I going too fast, Miss?
Nope, I'm good.
All right, Alderman Maynard? Yes. Alderman Morgan?
Yes.
Alderman Reed?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So those beer licenses have been renewed. Just don't forget that those that buy alcohol and consume, we get the tax money off of that, so shop local, I guess is what I say. All right. Complaints. These complaints have been presented to you both in video form and a email document written form. Due to our ability to email and have all that available to review for you, it was sent to you prior to this meeting for review. So you should have ample opportunity to see the videos that were presented and should have ample opportunity to review all of the complaints. I will not read the details of all the complaints because some of those things are not necessary for the entire community to hear, but they do go back to our actual beer board permits and license, revocation, or anything like that. So the complaints that you have in front of you, I guess, the purpose in this meeting, I don't guess, but I'm just telling you what the beer board is, that the beer board at this point simply must determine if the complaints that have been brought forth are valid enough for you and members of the board to cite the Little Red Shed for any violation of their beer license. So I think that kind of sums it up for you. So these complaints are on Little Red Shed specifically. They are from the Barker family in its entirety, and you should have read through those. So again, our job tonight is to determine whether they have violated a part of this beer permit to the extent in which they should be cited to appear before this beer board. So I will open it up for concerns, and basically on your beer permit, page 6, item 4, notice to appear, content, services. When the board shall have reason to believe that any permit holder shall have violated any of the provisions of this chapter or any of the provisions of the State Beer Act, the board is authorized in its discretion to notify the permittee of said violations and to cite said permitted by written notice to appear and show cause why his permit should not be suspended or revoked for such violation. Said notice to appear and show cause shall state the alleged violations charged and shall be served upon permittee either by registered letter or by a member of the police department of the city. So they will have 5 days to respond. So I will open it up to the members of the board. Do you see or do you have evidence that the complaints validate to the extent which the Little Red Shed should be cited? So anyway.
I'll be very honest, when I watch those 6, 7 videos 3 times, and at the end I think, what am I looking for? I see no reason to cite Red Shed.
I know when I watched them, and I had to listen very closely, but what I mean, you might see people out there, but I live under above the Mexican restaurant. There are people outside every night. They come out from eating and they're talking. I don't know what they're talking. I could hear them talking, but I don't listen to their conversation. I think that happens at any kind of restaurant or any public place. When I was listening on the tapes, I wasn't hearing anything really loud. As a matter of fact, the people going down the road, the cars, I was hearing louder than anything. And I kept watching, and I just wasn't getting what they were saying that was being done. I couldn't hear it.
Any other comments or anything?
Well, I agree with Teresa, but I think the last time that we actually had Omi come up here and we discussed everything, his property, he has no control of what happens when they leave his property. So if somebody's burning rubber or going fast or got a lot of pipes, that's something he has no control over. The question is whether we're warranting his beer license because of his establishment. And I think we should, and I do want to say that it may be loud there, but I live by the river, and you should hear them at the river. You should hear, I probably hear more than you hear, Miss Barca, down there, because there's motorcycles, there's razors, there's everything. They're coming around, they're coming up from behind me on that part. So it's not, I hate to say this, it's just the way that it is. It's the way it carries on this river. It's the sound that comes. When you can be down here and you can hear a barge coming from around the island and everything, that sound carries off of this water and these banks. And I don't see that there's any warrant.
Let me mention a couple of things in regard to our permit, that one of those on page 5, it identifies all of the different types of infractions, and in your email from the Barkers, they, I say, establish or point out certain parts of this permit and what they have identified as being a violation. When I read this, now, I'm a fairly educated man, but when I read this, our permit is very subjective. So the primary complainant is the Barkers. But when we look at things like allow any loud music, unusual noise, or obnoxious noise, it is open to subjectivity. What's loud to me may not necessarily be loud to you, depending on distance, depending on all those factors. So there's some other things in here that I know you have read it and looked at it. Some are more definitive. Fail to have the place of business cleared by all customers at 12:30 a.m. That's a pretty specific, clear point. I would also indicate that there has not been any citation to the Little Red Shed from ABC Commission, the Alcohol Beverage Commission. They haven't had any problem with them. They've been in there. They haven't cited them for any kind of violation or anything like that. Local authorities have been in there, county authorities, but they haven't cited anybody. So no one has violated the law. So it comes back down to policy. Regardless of what we think or feel or think we don't agree with, we have to go back to policy and what the law says. I don't have to like it, but if it's in policy, I got to follow it. And it's subjective. There has to be an agreement among the members of the board. I think the record will reflect from the video that was recorded tonight, in my personal opinion, and that both the Little Red Shed and the Barkers have established before you tonight, prior to this meeting, which will be on record, that both have an issue. The Barkers have an issue. They are concerned for their safety. The Little Red Shed, they're concerned for their safety. The Barkers complain the noise and the music is too loud for them. The Patels complain that they're being called nasty names and their customers are being harassed. The Barkers claim they've been harassed. My review of this and dealing with law enforcement and attorney general, what we have developed is a feud between two factions. One would be the Patels and their customers, and the other be the complainant, the Barkers. That's the way I sum this up in reading this beer permit. So, as the three of you have already stated, you don't see anything there that is significant enough to cite the Patels and the Little Red Shed to come before this board. So, be that as our opinion, we might not like it. Just like you mentioned the bars. Wake you up in the middle of the night hearing that hum. Well, that's obnoxious to me, but I can't do a lot about it. But again, law enforcement is well informed, well suited to deal with this, and we have to make a decision. So, one final time, Alderman Morgan, do you see a reason to cite Little Red Shed?
No.
Alderman Maynard?
No.
Alderman Reeves? No, sir. Okay. There will be no citation for the Little Red Shed at this time. We will keep it in our visual presence, and law enforcement will continue to monitor that as it progresses. I think the best result would be that the customers and the owners of Little Red Shed just kind of try to reduce whatever interaction it is. And then the Barkers, I think they need to think about their stance. Again, our job will not be to infringe on anyone's rights at this time. So. All right, citizens' comments, concerns, commendations.
Good job.
Thanks, sir. Any other questions, comments? Concern? Okay, thank you.
I do have a.
Okay, go ahead.
Jennifer Barker, do I need to say my name again and address? Okay. Jennifer Barker, I completely understand your level of noise, and I do not and have never read that there's minor or major infractions as far as these rules that were set by this beer board. I'm not saying you, because I'm not sure if you all were the founding of the ordinance.
Yeah, we were not the originators of the
Right,
ordinance.
right. So my only concern is oversight. The first time when the red shed was put on the probation, there was no oversight from anyone in this office. As far as feedback or checking to find out what was, going on.
Let me interrupt you for a second. When you say there was no oversight from this office, that is not correct.
Yeah, I'm the one that had the restaurant sign made. Make sure it got
Well,
done.
they oversight was had because they did make some changes as was requested by this board.
Sure.
And also our chief of police and others have monitored it, and our previous mayor. So there was oversight. It might not have been to the degree that you think it should have been, but you can't say that there was no oversight. Go ahead.
Okay, I would also like to know if any of you frequent the red shed between the hours of 9 and 1 o'clock. If you do, then you'll be privy to the amount of problems that you obviously don't see in the complaints and on our cameras.
Yeah, well,
Our cameras pick up things.
Yeah, let me
So-
address something. It's not a concern of the public where the members of the board frequent. That's not a concern. But the monitoring of that is through the alderman, the police, the sheriff, and the mayor's office. So I hope that kind of clears up a little bit. So it sounded like you were asking if they go and frequent the establishment. That's not the business of the beer board.
Okay, maybe not frequent, let's say, check-in, as far as check-in.
I really don't
to
wanna
see-
answer that because of what, like Greg said, I think that what we do outside of here, even though we may
Okay.
be representing our city, because I feel like I represent the city. I mean, I'm just a citizen that pays my taxes and tries to do
Absolutely.
everything, but I
Including
think
myself.
what I do, there's a certain amount that's really not anybody's
Yeah,
business.
let me
Sure.
clarify some of the responsibility issues. The beer board is a legislative body. They are not there to make an executive decision unless a vote occurs and that it is established that they all have found a violation. The mayor is the executive branch. So in this business of the beer board, that they are not, it's not their job to monitor that situation. It will be the mayor, the law enforcement, be it city or county, things like that. So,
Okay, and then my other concern is, you said law enforcement, are you talking about local
City police of Saltillo,
has been
Hardin County,
over there to monitor?
they monitor as they see fit as a police department. I am in charge of the city police department as the previous mayor was. The county mayor is over the county police department. But the way they monitor and the way they surveil or whatever they do is a police matter. So I'm not gonna address all of what they do because I don't know all the ins and outs, but as I said in our previous meeting, we have gone, I say, the issues with the Little Red Shed, the complaints have been made all the way to the Attorney General. Not only just on the complaints, but on the complaints we get against your property. So that all went all up through, so there is consistent monitoring of the situation. So I'll put it like that, but it's not their job necessarily to monitor.
Sure, okay.
They have to determine if there's evidence, and when I say evidence, again, this, like I said, was written by us, we had to follow. But there are some subjectivity to it when you start talking about loud, obnoxious. Hey, I don't like rap music. That's obnoxious to me. Well, don't mean it's a violation of the law, okay? So there's some subjectivity, I would say. But all three of the board members did not find fault on the Red Shed in order enough to cite them at this present time. They have made changes to their operation based on what was told to them under the, what do we call it? It was the, they had some things they had to do. And they did some of those things, so, there you go. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
My name is Yamal Patel. I'm from Henderson. About the loud noise. I was reading about the loud noise and all that. It came out occur me that there is a decibel points where it says what is loud, what is not. I mean, I know I was trying to get a decibel report for my place to extend the days I'm loud, how my jukebox, how loud is my jukebox to all the way to the roadside. I mean, if the city can find somebody to get the decibel reports, so that loud noise thing is always, I mean.
Well, I would say a couple of things. One, I want to make sure you are clear. At this present time, Little Red Shed has not been cited for any violation. You as the owner are responsible for monitoring and maintaining your property. When you mention something about a decibel meter, I'm a music person. I am very aware of how that works. That would be your responsibility. Wouldn't be ours.
I mean,
You know,
I'm just
but that's,
trying.
you know, but you need to make sure that your establishment operates within this right here. You know what I'm saying? So we would tell you to continue to monitor that and do those things that keep your license.
Yes, sir.
And we would say the same for the bar, to do what they want to do as far as their rights are, but
Yes,
they shouldn't infringe on your right. But at this point in time, we have established that there is no citation, okay? Any other comments from people that are here? Any other comments? Okay, get a motion to adjourn at this time.
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Alderman Maynard,
Second.
second by Alderman Morgan. Meeting dismissed. Thank you all for coming.